So here we've got the electrician's notes from Dot Solutions. This is a handy reference guide for all those facts and figures that are sometimes difficult to remember. It comes in a durable card and wallet system, so you can lay the book out any way you like, and it's a good size for your toolbox or your glove box, and it's also completely waterproof. There's plenty of information in here, and also at the back there's a couple of handy blank pages, so that if you've got any information that's particularly relevant for you, or things that you find particularly difficult to remember, you can jot down your own notes. I'll draw your attention to the disclaimer on the back, which points out that the notes are for guidance only for qualified electricians. It's not a work around the rules and will only be useful to those who already know the regulations. If in doubt, authoritative documents such as the BS 7671 should always be consulted. So that's it in a nutshell, the electrician's notes from Dot Solutions, which should be available at your wholesalers for about £9.95. But you can see a list of suppliers at the website shown at the start and the end of this video. That's it for the short version, but if you'd like to carry on watching, I'll go through each page in a bit more detail. So in a bit more detail I'll go through each page. Now the quality is not going to be great on the video here, so pop into your local wholesalers and have a look at the book for real. But to give you an idea, first we've got your ZS figures for circuit breakers and fuses, different ratings, and the figures are already calculated at 80% for you. R2 figures for main bonding, and R1 plus R2 figures for common cable sizes. So for example, if you've paced out your run at 30 meters, an expected figure for R1 plus R2 for 2.5 twin and earth would be 0.59. That's obviously handy for verifying figures on site and also when you're back in the office doing the paperwork. General information next on cutout fuses, switchgear BSEN numbers, ZE at supply, and phase colours and sequence. Typical switch and socket heights, giving from finished floor level the heights of sockets, a switch, a room stat, bedside table, computer desk or table, and a kitchen unit. And a schedule of test results for if you go on site without a form with you, just to make sure that you don't miss out any of the vital information when testing. Next we've got a page that's an SWA guide giving you a gland selection and cleat selection, and then a handy two-step guide at the bottom for getting a really neat finish for your glands into enclosures. Follow the two-step guide by marking the cable first where you want it to enter the enclosure. You then mark the cable further back according to the gland size you're using. That's where you start stripping the armoured core to give you a really neat finish into the enclosure. Bathroom zones on the opposite page, which all electricians will be familiar with, but it's handy to have the information to hand to show to your customer. Joist holes and notches where they should be to keep the building inspector happy, and then we've got an S-plan wiring guide. Commonly used reference methods and cable types listed at the bottom. Next we've got a few pages with suggested codes for condition reports, so you can attribute particular faults to C1, C2 and C3. Finally there's a card to pop in your windscreen to try and keep the traffic warden at bay, and the two blank pages at the end as previously mentioned. So there we have it, the electrician's notes from Dot Solutions. Have a look at the website, which will be shown next, or pop into your local wholesalers where it should be available for around £9.95.